Alright, so here, in this lesson I'd like to talk about um, being aggressive and having a identifiable style with your bends and the way you pick them. And my favorite player to, the one that I kind of try to emulate for bending and having an aggressive sound is Alex Skolnick. And the way he does his bends, I mean, like, what he does is when he's bending a string, this finger or whatever finger is doing the bend is also muting the string below. So right now I'm gonna bend the 13th fret of the B string up to 15, and when I do that, this part of my finger is gonna be muting the G string here. But when I pick from the G string and go through both strings, because you hear that kind of aggressive kind of click sound instead of just picking it like that's if I pick it right at the B. If I mute some other strings and pick them with it, it's got a better sound. So and another thing is to, what I like to do is angle my pick down so that a little bit, almost like a pinch harmonic, just a little bit of my thumb touches the string there, so you can get not a full pinch harmonic, but just a little overtone from it, you know. If you can hear that, it's not, that sounds, to me that sounds so much cooler than just going, because like, with picking or with bends, that's one thing where I don't think you should be really like, make sure that you're only hitting that string or be really clean or accurate with it. Like when you're playing a bend, you want to really dig in and get a really powerful, you know, just a really good kind of sound from it. Really, you know, hard rock kind of, you know, you want to add some extra style stuff. So I just kind of want to talk about different ways to bend, like kind of spice up your playing, because the most subtle things, just like the way you bend, can make you, you know, can make people interested in your playing or not interested in your playing, you know, because a bend, it's not like a bend is really impressive, but if you do it in a way that you can add little subtleties to it that make it impressive. It's the way you do it that makes it impressive, not actually what you're doing. So here I've got that little harmonic overtone. If I was going to do a full pinch harmonic, I'd go. There's a full pinch harmonic, there's just a little bit of it. So, and of course it's good to have a strong vibrato, depending on what type of style of vibrato you like. Some people like really wide, fast vibrato, some people like slower. I use both. But for the longest time I couldn't bend a string and do vibrato once I had it up to the top. And it was because I was using my fingers to do the bend. And when you do a bend, the power of it should come from your wrist coming up like that. Because if you keep your thumb on here and keep your wrist down like this, then all the power has to come from your fingers pushing up. And your fingers just aren't strong enough to really control the bend and get a good sound. But if you have your thumb on top and you tilt your wrist up, then you can use your arm and angle your hand so that it'll be easier for you to get a lot of control on the bend and get good vibrato. So and my bends and vibrato, I kind of do them. I guess my bends and vibrato kind of do sound like Alex Skolnick. Not a whole lot, but it's kind of the way I do mine. And I always, pretty much like all the time now, that's just a habit. Whenever I'm bending a string, whether it's, you know, a G string, B string, E string, or even like a D string, I always catch the string underneath it, or the string right below it. So if I was going to bend the 12th fret of the G string up a full step, I would also catch and mute that D string, because that just gives it, you can hear the difference if I just pick the, and then if I add in the other one, it sounds much more aggressive, and I just like the sound of that better. So just be mindful about how you can really control how these little subtleties in your playing that can really make or break a player, because I've seen players where technically they're amazing and they can do all these great stuff, but then they go for like a bend and it either sounds really generic and they just go like they don't even give it any attitude, or they just do it really politely, or they can't control their vibrato, and their bends go out of tune. So bending is really important, and I think it's really good to be able to control how you want the bend to sound. And I play the way I do because I want the bend to sound really aggressive and dirty. And that's just how I like my bends to sound. So just be mindful of that. I just wanted to talk about bending, and maybe someone could get some tips from this, or as long as you got something from it, I'm all good. So